All right, hello everyone. So today is the 10th of November. So let's take a look. This is gold. I put the hours here already. Not a lot of hours. Yesterday was also okay. Remember yesterday I said you have to be careful for these blue zones here, right? Because they're PST levels on price. And I said if the market goes back up, then we could also sell it at the top as well to push further down because the market should eventually come down here. But as you guys all know, the market waves, right? So we've got a big dip down, a retracement, and then a sell-off. So if you were careful at these levels, which I gave you those levels yesterday, from 45 to 38, this was the zone. This was an astro hour, okay, and that's an astro hour there. So, going from lows to the ups there. Okay, so this zone was okay to kind of go up. And I also talked about this 405, which is there. Okay, that's 545 and 545. Yesterday, what did we have? 505, 520, which this needs to be at 1605. Okay. And that's there, I think. Where is 1605? Okay, so it's there. I already marked that in. Sorry, my fault. 1605 there, okay? And then it's going up into there. I didn't have that number there. This is 630, okay? And I think it was 5 o'clock. Yeah, okay, so this is pretty much at 4 o'clock. Here it is. Okay, 405. Okay, that's it. Let me just get rid of that. We don't need that one. So this was the zone. Okay, remember I said this is a bit tricky. You have to be careful here. But if the market does swing, I said it should go towards 8 o'clock. Okay, which is there. This is your 8:30, and I had 8:20, right? So this is where the market went up to at 8:15. That's the 8:15 bar there. Here. Okay, the blue bar here. So this should be there. 8:20. Okay, which is that bar there. Okay, right at the tops there. So the market did go up there, and then from that zone, it made a bit of an up move, very slightly though, and then came back down again. So what to expect with gold? Look, with gold, like I said, we should fill in some gaps here, okay? And I think that's where we should be going towards. So the market has been up there. This was a sell zone, as you know. So if you were selling, fine. Also, if you were using the swing days, remember for gold, I said, look, this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, right? So Monday was a swing day. As you can see, Monday, Tuesday coming all the way down into Thursday, right, the lows here, and now I've got Friday as well. So what we might want to do is keep selling down so we can close this gap here. So the market already did this little zone. If you want to keep selling at astro hours, I think you can. Okay, and where will that be? Well, this will be around this zone here. Okay, because there's the gap here. So if the market pushes back up again, okay, if it comes down into an astro hour and you want to buy, I don't think that's a bad idea either, because it'll fill in the gap here, for example, especially at 1950. All right, so 1950 is a zone here, as you can see, which is right on that bar where the market took off. And as you can see, got 1, 2, 3 taps here as well. So a bit of an ABC pullback into this zone is okay. If it comes down first, you can go up. Okay, if it goes up first, you can go down. In any case, we've got room to come down to, so be mindful. All right, and that's it on the weekly. As you can see, we've got a nice push down, so we should come kind of lower and fill in those gaps. Okay, so if we go up first, it's better for us to push down, but if it does come down first, then you can also make a day trade out of it to push up a little bit. Just be mindful. The best hours for today might be 11:30 and 5:45 to 6, that little time period there, 20 minutes, 25 minutes is okay. And that should take us to a place of adjustment as well, 7:25. So we don't have a lot of hours today, but they're good. They're good to trade. SP 500, let's take a look now. With the SP 500 as well, you can see there. Remember this, we want to be selling from these levels, so it's all good. And I said yesterday as well, this is still under the influence of the pressure downwards. And I made a comment yesterday. I said if the market does swing, it should like push down. And this is that 4 o'clock. Remember 5:05? We had yesterday from 5:05 to 5:20, which is 4:05 to 4:20 on my platform. So that's that and that. So beautiful push down. Now, even if you missed that, the pullback was there as well, because I said it should go to 2020, which is 20 minutes past 7 on the platform. And that's your 7 o'clock, 7:15 is there. So you could have still sold off here. So this needs to be there. All right. And that would have been, that would have taken you all the way to the closure, because I said it should move towards 11:50 in the evening, and 11:50 in the evening is 10:50 on the platform, which is right there, the low of the day. Okay, so that's magic. So if you took that, great. Now let's take a look. Let's refresh so we get the daily pivot where it should be. This is a really good push down, and because we're expecting pushes from the lower side, from the upper side, sorry, we're expecting pushes from the highs. It's all good. Now we've got, let's see, let me just bring back this whole thing and then go to the daily. And on the daily, we'll see how things are panning out. Come on. All right, so here we got the daily. Okay, so following this push down, I think is not a bad idea. Once again, you got the 3 taps here. See 1, 2, 3, and then boom, down. And this has got room to come down as well. I'm just going to get rid of this. Okay, why? Because I can actually just do this. Okay, here. And that's that. So that's already done. This zone, there is also a bit of gap here. I talked about here. This is why we said we need to be careful and cautious about this level. But I did say if at the Astro hours we are at high levels, we should sell off. Okay, so high levels coming all the way from previous times, and this is exactly the Astro hour there. So if you manage to take that trade, well done. We should pull back down into this zone. So if we go back up again, selling is okay. Now I don't work on Fridays, but at the end of the day, we should still get to this retracement. So that 49 is 4312 is still down here, 4312. That's the goodbye kiss zone. All right. So if the market goes back up into the daily or the equilibrium here, okay, at an Astro hour, pushing down is not a bad idea. There's just a little bit of a gap here. Maybe we should be careful with it, but I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, so I don't think that's a big deal. So if the market goes back up here into Astro hours, selling is okay into that zone. Okay, and on the daily, there is room to come down as well, like I said. So 4321 and 4312 should be on the cards for us. Euro dollar, let's take a look at that as well. Okay, here we are. Now, once again, with these selling the highs was how we're doing stuff. On the weekly, as you can see, it had done that. So just selling downwards was what we were talking about. If the market goes up, if the market is above at here, this is the Venus line, right? So if we're up there somewhere, selling it off, selling it off is not a bad idea. And that's it. Now, this was not an Astro hour, okay, but this was an Astro hour, and this is where the market just collapsed down, okay, right into, it's 10:45 on the platform, which is there, right to the low of the day, right on your weekly pivot. Okay, so probably this is going to break. So if we go back up into the daily pivot, or even from this zone here, the high of Asia, if you're here, selling down, I think is not a bad idea to continue to go down on the daily. We should head down towards the low of this channel. So this 43 becomes 1.0580. You can use that for a target, not a problem. 1.0580. All right, there. And on the weekly, you can see, let's see, coming down into that 42, 1.0587, 1.0562, 1.0615. So let's do this. We'll keep that 1.0615 because that's the higher end of stuff, okay, of the levels. So we'll keep that as a target. So if the market pushes up a little bit, I'm happy to sell down. Now just be mindful, the market hasn't really broken that low here, okay, but it's kind of scratching it because like we're bouncing off it just too many times for my liking, okay. So breaking this is also an option. But if we end up somewhere, somewhere here, let's say at an astro hour, let's say at 11:30, right, which is going to be 10:30 on the platform here, my platform anyway, right? So if we end up somewhere here, this could be like an opportunity to push up into the next astro hour, which is going to be 4:45 on the platform. It's going to be there. Okay, so if we find ourselves up at these astro hours, pushing down is the way to go. And I also have here 5:15, let's say, okay, which is that zone there. And then we've got the 7:25, which is going to be 6:25, let's say 6:30 here. Okay, so those time zones are going to be the important ones. If we're up somewhere, just sell it off, okay, and then push it to the targets down here. Let's take a look at, let's take a look at Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at Dow Jones. So Dow Jones, same kind of thing. That's, what was that? Here we are. Okay, so that's 5 minutes past 4. Whoops, that's included as well there. So on the platform, these were astro hours as New York opened up. And as you can see, the market just shattered it all the way down into 10 o'clock, 10:45 is there. Okay, and the middle of that is going to be there somewhere, 7:30, 20 there. Okay, 7:20 is going to be there. All right, so impulse, retrace, push down. Okay, so that's the classic, and that's good to see happening. Now, let's take a look at the daily. As you can see, Astral was working fine from the highs, selling off, which is what we talked about, from the highs, selling off. All right. On the other hand, I did say be mindful, okay, because we got this breakout, okay, but we're still in the line of price, okay. So if you acted on that, this was good behavior because you would have had a really tight stop loss. At the end of the day, we're at the highs. It's an astro hour. We've got an inclination to sell. So this is a nice work down here, market flowing down. So we've got a bunch of stuff to cover here. So if the market goes back up today, next week, we're definitely selling off. Okay, if the market does that. If we keep going down today, next week we should have a heads up and then sell off. All right, so that's how it is. But at the end of the day, I would keep selling because this is a good push down in the US session. So if we come back up to the daily or slightly higher into this zone here, okay, where the gap is, it should be okay to resell in my opinion. So if I was to just move this a little bit down, All right, so if the market comes up a little bit here or there, then we can sell off again at the Astro hours and just follow this down. If you take a look at the weekly, we've got that room 46, 33, 466. 33, 466. So you can take that as a target, or the weekly pivot as well as a target, and see how things pan out today. Okay. Like I said, the Astro hours are okay. There aren't many, okay, Astro hours today, but I think they're good to be using. They're good for use. They're going to be useful for today because there aren't many. That's your 10:30 for the 11:30 on the platforms, and that's 4:45 going to be there. So if you just measure it out like that, it'll be fine. So if we end up somewhere high, I think selling is not a bad option on this one. Friday is also a swing day, so I think it is a swing day for Dow Jones. Let me just double check. It should be, yeah, it is. Okay, for SP 500 and Dow Jones, Friday is a swing day. So if we go up and push it lower, that might actually work out. And then next week, the lows will be an opportunity to go kind of up again and so on. Okay, and then we can follow it that way. NASDAQ, the same kind of thing. Now look at that beautiful pull up right into that zone. Remember, I said we've got that zone there. Okay, and then the market dips down, and that's just awesome. Okay, the PST level was a bit high, but you can see all you got to do, guys, is just understand that it's an Astro hour and the market is pushing. We're at the highs. 620 is there. Okay, so as you can see, they did a bit of a boo-boo here, sweeping the stops, and then no, wait a minute. That is, oh, look at NASDAQ. So that worked out 720, 715, that bar there. That's that. And then the 405 should be this here. 405 there. All right, so this was a zone where the market gave us a bit of a sell, and then it moved up. Very cunning, but also a better opportunity than the others for selling off. Still the retracement, selling off nicely right into the closure there. And that was a target we had, remember, 15,124 there. Okay, and that's basically pretty much done there. So still it's good, and you can see it swept the high of that. Okay, sweeping the high of that. So if we hang around here, it's not a bad idea, because if we hang around here next week, we're definitely sellers. So today, be a bit mindful. If the market does go back up next week, we're sellers. This is why I said yesterday as well, you might want to just chill out from the indices and just wait to see what will happen. Okay. Bitcoin, remember I had targets up here, which I said the market could sell off at. It breached it. It went up to, let me take a look on the weekly, that zone there. Okay, remember we had that 37,250. Okay, and that's basically where it went before selling off. It now closed the gap here. Okay, so sell reaction should be what we should be expecting. Obviously, I wouldn't expect anyone to be buying here. And I talked about these lines here before. As you can see, I've put these in from ages ago. And you can see they're like all reaction days where the market is doing swings. It's part of that financial astrology that we can do. All right, so these levels are still levels where you can kind of sell off and push down, but I do it with a bit of caution because it's like pushing up, up, and up. But I think this is just gas. They just pump it up and then chew it down. So be mindful. I wouldn't buy at the tops here. If anybody's doing intraday trading on this one, selling the highs is, I think, the better option. And then you can buy the lows as the market comes down into the top of that line there, or possibly into there again, the 30s zone. And we'll see how things pan out by spring, okay, which is the date we're waiting for.